Hello, A Little Mo Crafty followers. Thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. Happy February. Are you thinking already, oh no, I'm going to have to get started on those Valentine cards? Well, I have a great idea for you that will launch you not only into Valentine's Day, but any general holiday that celebrates a four-letter word. Now, don't be thinking what you're thinking. A four-letter word I'm talking about is things like baby, love, grad, birthday, or excuse me, B-day. Any four-letter word will work for this situation, and we're going to make a square shaker card. So it's a very simple project. You're going to start with a 5-inch cardstock, and you're going to actually cut a couple other pieces of squares in different sizes. This particular one is a 4-inch gingham yellow paper. And I'm going to put that down the middle and surround it with some foam tape. Now, this is a nice, easy way to do a basic shaker card. Typically, as shaker cards, you actually have to have the kit, or you have to cut the shape, the intricate shape out in a foam square, and it sometimes can be a hassle to run through your die cut machine. But if you just want the dynamics of a shaker card, picking any shape like a square or circle is very easy to use with simple foam tape. What I'm doing is creating bumpers where my embellishments will go by lining up the square around my patterned cardstock. And you'll notice that I'm taking the foam tape and running it up flush against the corner so that none of my little bits for the shaker card fall out. So I'm going to trim these with just a delicate trim scissors. Make sure my corners are completely closed. And then I'm going to take a quick peek to see what the depth of my area is, because this is where my embellishments are going to go. But depending on the width of my embellishments, I may need to add a second layer of foam. And in this case, some of the embellishments I have chosen are going to need a second layer to build that wall. If you're using something like sequins or something like that, something flat will be fine. You also want to consider whether or not you're going to be mailing the card, because this may add an extra cost to the mailing price. Okay, so I'm taking a second layer of foam. This is after I've peeled off the sticker on the first layer, and I'm just going to run around the outside edges of my square one more time with the foam tape. Again, sealing off my corners nice and tight so no sequins or embellishments get stuck in the corners. And I also love the double-sided sticky foam tape because it's super simple and I don't have to wait for glue to dry. So we're going to go ahead and put on this fourth layer, trim it all up. And then we're going to talk just a little bit about the top panels. So again, this is a see-through card, and this is how I cut my panels with my die cuts. I used a little bit of washi tape when I ran them through so the letters didn't slip, and that particular piece of cardstock was cut at a 4.5 inch. Okay. So now just pick your embellishments, and you're going to possibly mix these ahead of time. I like to do that ahead of time just to see the color scheme that I've created, because if I don't like it, then I don't have to actually fill my card and empty it. But I've got an assortment of white stars and yellow beads, and I'm going to add just a few more darker yellow hearts to my collection. This is just an assortment of embellishments that I have at home. Okay, I want to double check the width and make sure that my embellishments are not taller than my walls. Otherwise, I'll need to add another layer. And then I'm going to take the sticker panel off of my foam tape. So now the next cut you're going to need to make is with a piece of acetate. And you can get this at any local craft store. Notice that I am slightly dabbing the areas, both where I put the embellishments and the acetate, with a white cloth, if you will. That's actually just a dryer sheet, and that helps to take the static cling off of the acetate and off of the space you're going to be putting your beads. Be careful with a dryer sheet, however. Don't rub it. Just tap it lightly. That's all you need to get the static off. If you rub it, you may create some scratches. Okay, now I have my panel where I cut my four-letter word, and I'm going to be adding some glue to the back of this and then applying it right over my beads. Notice that I also put a border of glue around the outside as well so that this sticks really well. Now, one of the things that I know I regret after recording this video is that I probably applied a little too much glue, but if that happens to you, go ahead and recut your panel or cut a second panel to lay over it. Okay, the other thing that I recommend if you're making a 4-letter word card is to keep the little inside bits of your letters. You want to make sure that everybody knows that that's the letter B, and so you want to save those little inside bits to glue on later. Okay, my shaker card is complete, and now I just need to decorate it. But don't work too fast that you throw away those all-important letters, because guess what? If you've created a birthday card, you could also use those letters to create a really quick tag to also tie to a gift, and then you look like you've coordinated your decorations. So I'm taking the letters that got cut out of the panel and actually just quickly gluing them onto a plain old tag. And then I'm going to coordinate my card and my tag with some coordinating ribbon. So depending on where your letters fall and how you want to decorate or how big your ribbon is, I just went back and forth between where I wanted to place my ribbon, but I ended up gluing it just as so. You can do this with any word. Take a look at some of these cuties. What 4-letter word would you create? Thanks for joining me today. See you next time on the A Little Mo Crafty channel.